Between 2016 and 2021, Tearfund commissioned independent researchers in Uganda, Sierra Leone, Bolivia and Nepal to find out how churches and communities are identifying needs and mobilising resources to improve people's lives. We call this church and community transformation. Put simply, a church and community transformation, or CCT process, is a guided approach that a local church can use to empower its community and together transform their situation using their own resources to bring about long-lasting, whole-life change. The evidence from the report shows that local churches working alongside their communities are an effective and sustainable solution to overcoming poverty. The people who took part in our research had experienced at least one significant shock or crisis, from drought and economic crashes to the COVID-19 pandemic. However, even during these most challenging times, 70% of the people interviewed said that these church and community transformation processes and the local church had brought positive change in their lives. The research used the Qualitative Impact Assessment Protocol, a method which reduces bias by not telling interviewees or interviewers what is being evaluated until after the data collection is complete. This means that when people spoke about Tearfund's partners or CCT bringing improvements to their lives, these points were unprompted, spontaneous reflections. The research identified 4 particular areas of transformation: the church reaching out, hope restored, improved relationships, and resilient livelihoods. The evidence suggests that when churches reach out to their communities, people experience restoration in their relationship with God. When people talked about what caused positive change in their lives, they mentioned CCT and faith more than any other factor. One community member in Uganda said, "The church is involved in more activities, there is more preaching of the Word of God, people are getting saved, the church is giving people the knowledge they need to improve their well-being with the resources they have. Everyone in the community is invited." When people who took part in the research were asked which organisation contributed to improvements in their lives, they referred more often to Tearfund's partners and local churches than any other organisations. 85% of people said that their hope for the future had increased. One of the women interviewed said, "I have more hope than I did 5 years ago. Back then I believed I was limited in what I could do. What could I do as a woman? Nothing. But now, because of the CCT training, I know I can do anything. I've been taught how to make energy-saving stoves. I can train others to build them and save the environment." 83% of people said that their confidence and self-esteem had improved and their ability to achieve had increased. The top 4 causes of these improvements were all linked to the church reaching out through church and community transformation and to people's Christian faith. The evidence also shows that CCT helps people to improve their relationships and change their behaviour. One of the most common outcomes was improved family relationships as a result of a reduction in excessive alcohol consumption. Half of everyone interviewed said that their relationships at home and in the community had improved when they were part of a church and community transformation process. We know that CCT also plays an important peace-building role. A third of people interviewed said it had brought an improvement in interfaith collaboration and better relationships across communities as a whole. Lastly, our research shows that CCT helps to address economic poverty by developing livelihoods that are resilient and able to withstand external shocks. When people were asked about changes to their income, the most common story told was that a CCT process had initiated the change. Through the education they received as part of a CCT process, communities were able to diversify livelihoods, which in turn led to an increase in material assets and resources. Training and education on topics like farming, business skills, and disaster preparedness were all mentioned as drivers of positive change. Although all research participants had experienced external shocks, including COVID-19, 40% of them said that their livelihoods had become more resilient as a result of taking part in a CCT process. This research presents evidence of the powerful impact that a local church can have when it empowers and equips its community for change. The consistency of this evidence across 4 very different parts of the world, in terms of context, culture and churches, suggests that church and community transformation processes could be used to reduce economic poverty and change people's lives for the better, anywhere in the world. Despite the huge challenges of climate change and conflict we see in our world, these findings give us hope that Jesus is working through his church to bring real transformation to those living in poverty. Communities, individuals and churches are thriving now, and your prayers and giving have been part of this incredible journey. Thank you for partnering with us. Thank you for praying and giving so generously. Thank you for being a part of making this possible.